Yango wawe. Yango wa. Eh 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 eh. Eh 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 eh. To my beautiful and amazing royals of Africa, Mbolo, Mbolwani, my people, this is your queen, Queen Ngningone II, 17th generation crown queen of the Fang people, also known as the Immortals. My beautiful and amazing royals of Africa, today is such a special day for us. That's the reason why I'm dancing. My people, today marks the end of the longest and the toughest project I have been called to work on since my crowning, all right? And later on I will tell you why it was the toughest. But for now, I just want to tell you, rejoice. Many people have gone around claiming all sort of stories. They went up and down trying to tell our history because they had everything to gain. What happened when you murder kings and take their children away into slavery? Then some clowns can run around and claim to be them. So, my dear children of Africa, today's video, your queen, I will unveil one of the world's best kept secrets. Okay, I won't have you wait. Today's video is about the 12 sons of Jacob, whom we also know as the 12 tribes of Israel. They said on the internet that there's about 10 tribes who are lost. My dear children, don't worry about it. Because in today's video, your queen, I'm bringing you not 10, but the 12 tribes, so-called lost tribes of Israel. You know why? Because these guys they loosely talk about are us, okay? Our elders, our historians, our priests, they teach us that only the Bantu people of Africa have valid claim to any lineages tracing them back to the 12 sons of Jacob. So my dear children, today's video is about the 12 kings of Africa, also known as the 12 sons of Jacob. We the Bantu people come from. This is what our elders, our historians, and our priests teach us about us. The world had the time to run around and tell their story. Little did they know that the time will come where the God of our ancestor, Tata Nzambe Almighty, will raise his children again. He will look at us again and he will love us again. That time has come. The 400 years are up. So that's why I took the time to prepare this video for our amazing, beautiful, lost children out there. Now it's time for the royals of Africa to come and tell their children who we are. Because when it comes to healing, what are we healing from? We have to know first our true identity. And this is what this video is about. So in today's video, you will receive an exclusive account which I'm sure you have never heard before. It's our history told by us according to our Bakongo tradition. So ladies and gentlemen, be ready and let's go. Follow me. Let's get down to business, my people. Today's video, we will talk about the 12 sons of Jacob, who we know are the founder of the 12 tribes of Israel. So you probably have read many stories about them out there, and you must have heard that they claim that 10 tribes of the 12 are lost. Well, my dear royals of Africa, in today's video, not only I will tell you who these 12 tribes of Israel are in today's world, but also also their trace on the continent of Africa and where they took the captives of Israel out of Africa in the African diaspora. All right, so come on in. I'm so excited about today's topic because it's been long coming, and I hope that you guys are preparing yourself mentally and that you're coming to watch this video with a complete open mind. All right, as a crown queen, this time where we are, what I could do for my people, my contribution is to provide you with a key knowledge that would help restore you, because this is the season we are in. Okay? So to my beautiful and amazing royals of Africa, welcome in and let's jump in. So the 12 tribes of Israel, of which the Bible speaks, are in Africa. These tribes existed in Africa, and it is in Africa that the history of Israel took place and nowhere else. You know that the world in which we are living is a world that has been taken over. Our elders teach us. Our elders teach us that this world had been taken over to allow Satan to prepare his coming. You know, it may surprise whoever it may surprise out there, but it's true. What is called the Babylon today, the Babylon is the reign of confusion, disorder, and sorrow. Therefore, the one called Satan had to sow disorder and discord to better prepare for his settlement on earth. As we all know, he was chased out of heaven and rushed down to earth. So he had to prepare, you know, to come and settle on earth. So for that reason, his agents have intentionally changed and confused all data, okay? The actions of Satan's agents, as you know them very well, are well documented. They have dispersed countless of populations from their homelands. They have changed the languages, the cultures, and the tradition of many groups of people on earth, the ways of life of many people, and ensure that the Bible tells lies. Yes, I said it. The Bible has been used as a powerful weapon to confuse, subdue, and oppress the masses. What does it mean? It means that the Bible's account on what we know the world to be today and the history of man, basically what we think we have learned from the Bible when it comes to the history of man and the history of the world, is a complete counterfeit. It's a misrepresentation of the living God, and I will tell you why. When you study the world as it is today by trying to rely solely on the Bible as a reference, you will be overwhelmed by the multiple inconsistencies. For that reason, scientists always conclude that the state of Israel and the Israeli people, as we call them today, are fake, meaning they are not the people the Bible talks about. I know that many members of the clergy, in their emotions, you know, they lead the masses to consume lies and fallacies which don't even make sense. Did you know that the visual representation of the world we live in is a counterfeit, for it shows the world that has been turned upside down from its actual geographic position? I always take the example of Africa, you know, where we suffered the invasion of our homeland, followed by its division and rearrangement. Our elders teach us that during the Berlin Conference of 1884 through 1885, also known as the parting of the Cape Conference, yes, that's how our elders call that conference, because it was a conference during which the continent of Africa was divided between the European countries, and its map was rearranged to fit their narrative of the world and the history of man. For example, did you know that what we know today as Sudan, it is not the ancient Sudan talked about in the Bible? What we know today as Sudan was created by the settlers. The real Sudan is in West Africa. In addition, the country we now know today as Ethiopia is not the ancient Ethiopia talked about in the Bible. This Ethiopia we know today was also established by the settlers. The ancient Ethiopia is located in Central Africa. As you could see it in the maps of Africa, drawings before the 1800s, it clearly shows Ethiopia in the heart, in the center part of Africa. For example, when we take the case of Nigeria and Niger, the Niger constituted all west of Africa, all that area. That area of the continent had several names. It was fragmented, giving birth to the countries such as Niger and Nigeria. So you have to understand that there have been several upheavals, which means that the world in which we are living today is a world turned upside down, so much so that the ones we know today as the Jews and the Arabs in the Middle East are not the ancient Jews and the ancient Arabs that the Bible talks about. There have been modification to the landmass of Africa. There have been many upheavals, so much so that if you are not careful and you base your sole research on the Bible, you will be misled, and unfortunately, many people are misled today. Many changes were intentionally made to ensure that the continent of Africa and its people will lose track of who they are and never rise from their fall again. However, thanks to the merciful God of our ancestor, Tata Nzambe, in his infinite mercy, he is awakening us and he is setting the record straight to expose the many lies of the Babylon and put an end to its reign. This is the reason why you could read in the book of Acts, Acts chapter 1 verse 6, when the apostles are asking Isaiah, aka Jesus Christ, Lord, has the time come for you to free Israel and restore our kingdom? So they were talking about freeing us. Who are us today? We are the captive of that war, because in order for them to talk about a kingdom that needs to be restored, it means that there's an indication that there's been a war, okay? There's been a war. So that Bible verse let us know that there was an imbalance which caused the kingdom to be dismantled, dismembered, and scattered throughout the world. Now the Lord is coming back to restore his kingdom, which is the true Israel, so that he may reign in peace and ease. We have to quickly move into the heart of the matter. Before we start, I just would like to throw a little disclaimer out there. What I have to say was taught to me by my fathers, my elders, and my mothers. I'm 17th generation crown queen of the Fang people, who are descendant of the crown of Manasseh. And I know all my forefathers and foremothers by name. So what they taught me sticks and will prevail above what anybody else out there, any former enslaver, any scholar to come from anywhere to come and try to debate. So let's just make sure we are clear about that. If anyone ever asks you the direct question as to can the 12 tribes of Israel be found in Africa, give them a direct answer and say yes. And this video will prove it to you. The 12 tribes of Israel had never been lost. My dear children of Africa, I'm sure by now you have looked up the meaning of the name Israel, which is the name of our nation, right? Okay, if you have done so and you have bumped into the meaning that says that Israel means the fighter of God, well, my dear royals of Africa, unfortunately, the meaning of that Israel has nothing to do with the meaning of our Israel, the ancient Israel, the Israel spoke about in the Bible, okay? So it is important that you know the correct meaning of the name Israel. Our elders teach us that the name Israel has a natural Kikongo root. In its authentic spelling, which is in Kikongo, Israel, it said Yisala Yeli, okay, which means the everlasting, the immortal, the eternal God. Another meaning of Yisala Yeli is he who frees from sin, he who purifies, okay? So our elders back it up by breaking down the word Yisala Yeli. So from the root Yisa or Yiza, some tribes write it with a Z, other tribe write it with an S. Yisa or Yiza means to make immortal, to render immortal, to purify, or to save from sin. And then from that root, Yisa or Yiza, we get the name Yisala, which means he who makes immortal, he who saves from sin, he who purifies. Okay, and now Yeli means almighty, omnipotent. Basically, Yeli is another name for Nzambe, another name for God. Okay, so when we say Yisala Yeli, we say the everlasting God, the omnipotent God, the eternal God, he who makes immortal, he who purifies, he who frees from sin is Nzambe. If we go to the biblical reference on how that name came about, this is the name Tata Nzambe renamed our ancestor Jacob. He renamed him Israel from Jacob. Our elders tell us that Tata Nzambe went into covenant with our ancestor Yakuba, also known as Jacob. Yakuba, it's his original name, okay? So Tata Nzambe went into covenant with him and told him, from you will come 12 powerful tribes, which will form my mighty nation on earth, a nation called Israel. That's what Tata Nzambe told our ancestors. So you see, you can tie the name Israel to the covenant. And what does the Bible tells us about the type of covenant Tata Nzambe has with the people of Israel? The Bible tells us that he has an everlasting covenant with us. Perpetual, a forever kind of covenant with the children of Jacob, who are now known as the 12 tribes of Israel. So you see, the name Israel makes reference to the type of covenant Tata Nzambe has with the people of Israel. When one enters into a covenant with him, so Tata Nzambe usually marks it with a change of name. Most people, when they get married, marriage is a covenant. One of them change their names or they add titles to their names. So just like Tata Nzambe renamed Israel once he entered into covenant with him, Tata Nzambe renamed us from Hebrew Israelite to Bantu Israelite, which we say in our language, Bantu Yisalayeli, the people of God, the God of Israel. Not just any God, it's pointing back to the God of Israel, the God of our ancestors. So let me break it down to you, my dear royals of Africa. Let me dissect the word Bantu. Let us get to the root meaning of the word Bantu using our Fang language, okay? All right, so in the word Bantu, we have the prefix Ba, which is the plural form of man. So Ba is short for Bana. So we use Bana to refer to men, the people. Also use Bana to refer to children. Some people translate Bana as children, but Bana as children is in the sense of descendant of. So when it comes to descendant of, it doesn't matter. You could be 100 years, it doesn't matter. You are descendant of Judah is gonna say Bana Yaundi, okay? The children of Judah. In the sense of descendant, we use Bana as children, but in general, we use Bana to refer to the people, okay? The people of so and so, or the people of such and such. We have the short, the contracted version where we just say Ba, which means the people. Now, Ntu, the suffix Ntu. Now, Ntu, some people, some tribe calls it also Nti. Nti means man, but just not any kind of man. Is the biggest guy in the land, okay? Is not the average man in the community, okay? We have a word for the average man in the community. We call him Mot. Nti is really a title, for it refers more to the function the man fulfills in his society. So we call Ntu or Ntis the leaders, the staff bearer, because Ntu is a short for Ntum in Fang. And what is Ntum? Ntum is the staff, which symbolizes the leadership. So he's the staff bearer among his peers. In the case of a kingdom, it would be a king. This is in the social context. And we know that in society, who are the men who bear staff? there are kings, queens, priests, and chiefs. So now in the spiritual context, when we talk about the man, okay, the children of the man, we said Bantu is the most high, the most elevated guy in his community. Now in the spiritual context, when we talk of man in the kingdom of heaven, we're referring to Tata Nzambe himself. That's what Jesus was doing when he was referring to himself as the Son of Man. Now, Bantu, the people of man, and in this case, man is referring to God himself, just as Jesus was referring to himself as the Son of Man. Bantu means the people of man, the people of the Most High Man, the people of God. My children, one more thing. So as we could see, Ntu or Nti, it points to the staff bearer. And who's the staff bearer in our community? Our kings, our chiefs. Okay, so this is what you need to know. So Bantu means the people of a king. So it refers to both on the social context, the people of the king. This is referring to us here on this physical plane. But in the spiritual plane, then, Nti or Ntu is referring to God himself, because he's the staff bearer in heaven. He's the King of Kings. He's the Most High God. So it's a reminder that whether on the physical plan or in the spiritual plan, we have kings over us. We are chosen people. Okay, so in its spiritual context, Bantu means the people of the Most High Man, the people of the Most High God, the people of the King of Kings. So when you say Bantu, it means the people of God. Yizala Yeli, the people of the God of Israel. And as you know, Tata Nzambe started first by renaming Israel, and in the name of Israel we call Yisala Yeli. We found the function of that God. God revealed to our ancestor Jacob the kind of God he was going to be to him and his people. He said that he's the everlasting God, the God who saves from sin, the God who purifies, the people of the God of Israel. So you could see in there that the name Bantu, our identity as Bantu, establishes on earth, legitimizes us on earth, certifies us on earth as the people of the God of Israel. It makes it official that we are the people of God. It is in the name, and anything related to us, it's always in the name. For our names are not just jokes. Our name foretells our purpose in life. Our name foretells our future, our destinies. If now you know why the first thing they did to the captives of Israel was to strip them down of their names, because their names were going to tell them who they were. They couldn't enslave us, allowing us to keep our names. So that's why we are a peculiar group of people. Anything attached to us can be the type of things that just pop out of the hat. It can, because we are God's people. Anything attached to us will have a trace. It is what it is. It's just like that. Let me share with you some of the other names our people call Israel in Africa. When we go to Kenya, our brothers and sisters in Kenya, in particular the Ekegusi people, they call Israel Eziraeri. All right. Now, when we go to Zimbabwe and Zambia, the Shona people call Iziraeri. And when we go to Lesotho, the South Soto people call Israeli. All right, so there you have it. To our beautiful and amazing royals of Africa, welcome back. My dear children of Africa, due to the length of this project, I have decided to split it into three. Part number one will introduce you each one of our amazing patriarchs per our Bakongo tradition. Also, we will run a little comparison with the Hebrew version of what they claim the name of our patriarchs mean, okay? And then from there you'll draw your conclusion. You know, part 2 is locating them. So part 2, we are locating them both on the continent, and guess what, my dear darlings, everywhere else in the world, everywhere they took you guys, my people, I found. And then part 3 will be the conclusion, the thought, and the way forward. Before I start, my dear children, I would like to make sure I let you in on a few things to help you better understand. So, number 1, you will hear me refer to the patriarch as Yah. I would like you to know, I would like to explain the Yah title, which is, it's really a title when we Bantu people use it, okay? So please know that in the Kikongo tradition, we use the prefix Yah in 2 different contexts. There's number 1, the social context, and the spiritual context. So when we use it in the social context, we could be referring to someone, a person who is elevated in dignity in society, somebody society looks up to, somebody society respect, somebody society reverts, somebody like a king, somebody like a queen, somebody like a patriarch, a father of a family or a mother of a family, somebody like a big brother who takes over the caring of the younger ones. So as a sign of humility, as a sign of respect, as a sign of appreciation to them, we call them Yah, okay? So your brother who takes over raising you after your parents passed away, he's no longer George to you, he's Yah George, as a sign of respect. So I would like our children to understand in which context we use Yah. This is the social context. Now, when we use it in the spiritual context, we are referring to Tata Nzambe himself, the God of the universe, the creator, God Almighty, omnipotent, omniscient, and everything. All right? My dear royals of Africa, I also want you to learn the importance, the role of a name for us, the Bantu people. Okay? Let us get into it. The Bantu, for the Bantu people, the name is very important, for it foretells a child's future. Okay? So it is important that you know that it was customary for Bantu people to name kingdoms, cities, towns, and villages after its founders. It is also customary for Bantu people to name their children after their relatives, friends, and even places they came from. As you already know, ancient Israelites were nomadic tribes, okay? So whenever we went somewhere, we will make sure we leave a mark, especially if we're sure that we may not go back where we come from. So before we start with each one of the patriarchs, I want you guys to know that there were towns. There were many towns, you know, named after the 12 patriarchs of Israel, you know, many of which were renamed by the settlers. However, there are still some left, and it's with the help of the Most High, Tata Nzambe, the God of our ancestors, that our team was able to gather, unearth the true history of our people based on our names. A magic platter, because I happen to be a linguist. You will see that everything just falls according to the plan of God. So in this video, I will not list all the names, all the location, because it's a lot, and I would like you guys join in the effort in finding other ones of us. I will show you the technique, what I did, what I used as a search technique, and the names I used to kind of locate us. And you, my beautiful and amazing royals of Africa, you can take it to the next level. You can search more than just cities. You can search name of mountains, name of rivers, and so on. We will go over that. Just use my search approach to identify the remaining location around the world of where they may have taken our people. So just see me as a guide. I serve as the guide to put you on the track, okay? But this is not close to everything. My dear children of Africa, I also would like you to know that in their trickery and in working on getting us lost, one of the most damaging actions they took against the people of Israel was when they translated the name of the Bible characters into their languages. So as a professional linguist, and any professional translator out there would tell you that There's a golden rule in translation. Our professional code of ethics prohibits us from translating any proper name. We are told that proper names are not to be translated under any circumstances. For doing so will cause the word to lose its etymology, meaning its root. And once you lose the etymology or the root of a word, it leaves it open to get lost and for any interpretation to be given to it. Unethical to do so. But what did we find in the Bible? In the Bible, they gave themselves the luxury to translate the name of all the Bible characters. The simple reason why they chose to translate the names of the Bible character into their languages, so it could fit their narrative, so they could claim to be us. Once you have translated a word into another language, that word is bound to phonetically sound as pertaining to that language. So the names of our forefathers, the 12 sons of Jacob, were translated into their languages to fit their narratives that they are us. It's no. And in today's video, I will prove to you that these names you read about in the Bible are indeed Bantu names. Oh my lovelies. All right, so let's jump right into it. Let us start with the tribe of Yarobene, also known as Reuben. All right, so the first patriarch we are going to talk about is the patriarch Yarobene. As you notice, I refer to them as Yaz because they are our patriarchs, like I previously explained. They are our fathers, our papas, our kings, our monkozis. All right, so we're not the same rank. We are not age mates. The Western culture brought this respect. Anybody can talk to anybody in any kind of way, you know. But us, we came from a society with, you know, order established. We were not savages, my children. So Yarobene is, our elders teach us that Yarobene is the first son of the patriarch Yakuba, also known as Jacob, to the matriarch Leona, also known as Leah. Yarobene is the traditional progenitor of the tribe of Robene.